realize it doesn't matter how long you've been born again. It doesn't make any difference, whether you're born again, Spirit-filled. It doesn't matter how long you've been in church. If we're not careful, all of us from time to time can become susceptible to a critical spirit. And if we're not careful, we get hung up with the wrong crowd and the wrong bunch of people. And before you know it, we're listening to them criticize, and all of a sudden, that critical spirit that's on them is now on us. And before too long, we've listened to it. Now we start partaking with it, and we become critical. And it's important that we learn how to overcome a critical spirit. Because since Jesus did not come to condemn the world, then neither should we. Since Jesus didn't come to criticize and to condemn, then neither should I. God's not called me to criticize. God's not called me to be judgmental and critical and harsh. He's not called me to be that way. So since Jesus didn't come to do it, then guess what? Neither should we. And I've come to find out something about a critical spirit. A critical spirit will hinder your ability to be compassionate. And we need to be compassionate. Now let's understand something. When I say compassionate, there is a difference between being sympathetic and compassionate. Sympathy says, I hurt with you, I feel your pain, let me get down in there and wallow with you and cry with you. You poor pitiful thing, nobody's going through what you're going through. Oh, I hurt with you. Sympathy feels that way, and yet sympathy will never find a way to meet the need. But compassion says, I feel the hurt, I see the need, but praise God, we're going to find a way to meet the need. You remember in the Gospels, the Bible said that Jesus, He saw their sick, but He was moved with compassion and healed their sick. Compassion always finds a way to meet the need. But a critical spirit will hinder your ability to be compassionate. You see, one thing about compassion that you can always count on, and that is that compassion will always supersede tradition. If we're not careful, we can get so caught up in tradition. Well, we've always done it this way. Well, praise God, it's always been like this. But compassion will always go above and beyond tradition. Compassion will always find a way to step beyond what tradition has always said and find a way to do what normally would never be done. And if we're not careful, a critical spirit will hinder us from moving forward. And as a Christian, as a believer, you and I have to make up our mind and make it our aim that we're going to be compassionate and not critical of other people. Because if we're not careful, as I said, we can sit around and we can start thinking of things, and before too long it's like, I don't know why in the world he preached that message. I don't know who he was talking to, but I sure don't know why in the world he said that. I just did not like that song that they sung the other morning. I just don't know why they sung that. I don't like that song. I don't like that carpet in that sanctuary. I just wish we had polka dot carpet. I don't like those lights in that sanctuary. I don't like those pews. I wish we had rocking chairs in the sanctuary. I never like pews. They're too hard. It's just not comfortable to me. I can't stand it. I just wish I'd never wore these high heel shoes, bless God. I just don't understand why I did that. I just wish. And before too long, we're critical and we find fault and we're criticizing everything that's going on. And before too long, somebody comes in with a need, and because we're critical, we're no longer compassionate and a need goes unmet.